How do you put value for money in a single word? So far, Skoda has been the answer, with a palette of models that offer so many great things for a reasonable price. Kamiq has been one of them. It was spacious, practical, comfortable, and well-built, but still more affordable than rivals. But it was also criticized for its uninspiring styling and dull interior. Now, it comes with a set of novelties that should make it better looking and, therefore, more appealing. Stay with us as we take a look at the all-new 2024 Skoda Kamiq to find out if this SUV is not just practical, but also stylish. The Skoda's smallest crossover gets a mid-cycle refresh, and logically, one of the key aspects of this update is the styling. However, most people will hardly differentiate the new model from the original, because changes are so typical for every vehicle in the VW group. They are very subtle, some would say modest. Therefore, you will need to take a closer look to spot the differences, and once you do that, you will see a nice improvement. The most notable area is the grille, which now looks a little bit bolder and more upright, while the headlights feature a slightly bigger size than before. At the same time, daytime running lights are thinner than before, while the front bumper gets a notable upgrade as well. Its lower section gets reshaped and does look a little bit more rugged, while it's also worth mentioning that there are new fog light designs, which also have some impact on the vehicle's overall appeal. On the other hand, the overall shape remains unchanged, and the only way to differentiate the new model from the old one is by new wheel designs. There are new 17-inch units in the base models, but you can also pay extra for bigger 18-inch units. Speaking of the visual enhancements, it's good to know that the European market version continues in the Monte Carlo version, that besides bigger and unique black or silver wheels comes with all other kinds of aesthetical upgrades. Some of the highlights are a gloss black finish on the grille, mirrors, side skirts, and roof rails. Also, there is a rear diffuser, upgraded headlights, etc. Speaking of the headlights, the adaptive matrix LED headlights are also part of the available equipment. But that's not all. There are a few more novelties that come with this facelift. On the rear end of the crossover, the rear bumper has also been redesigned, and its lower area now looks more rugged than before, while the taillights are characterized by new L-shaped rear reflectors. Although mostly subtle, this is a pretty comprehensive mid-cycle refresh that brings novelties in various aspects, including the interior design. The Kamiq's cabin has always been praised for passenger and cargo space and very good build quality. However, it was never considered too appealing. The lack of finer materials found in the T-Cross and the dull dashboard design has been keeping more demanding buyers away so far, but this changes with the new 2024 Kamiq, at least to some point. The first thing you'll notice is the set of new tech features, particularly the new infotainment and instrument cluster screens. The former is good for 8.25 inches diagonally in the most basic variants, and that's already a respectable size for the segment. If you prefer something bigger, a 9.2-inch system is available too. And no, it's not just about bigger screen size. This is a completely upgraded infotainment system, which now also includes wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as navigation, which all come standard with this infotainment system. As for the instrument cluster, base models use an 8-inch display, while higher trim levels offer the full experience of VW's well-known virtual cockpit, that is, in this case, a full-width screen good for about 10.25 inches. But despite this technological leap, the 2024 Kamiq will remain at great advantage over its closest sibling, the T-Cross, according to so many customers. Namely, Skoda engineers decided not to go for full digitalization, so climate controls remain physical. The new model can also be equipped with a good portion of advanced safety and drive assist features, such as autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, traffic sign recognition, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and low-speed rear autonomous emergency braking. Besides the new tech features, the new cabin is also more eco-friendly, as Skoda advertises a greater use of recycled materials on the inside. Still, we are more impressed with upgrades in terms of Skoda's well-known Simply Clever philosophy, which includes all kinds of new practicality features. such as smartphone pockets on front seat backs, removable cup holders, and other practical things. The automotive industry may be leaning toward electrification, but that's not the case with Kamiq, at least for now. The refreshed model continues to rely solely on internal combustion engines. More precisely, it relies on 3 familiar petrol units, all small but all reasonably capable. Base models continue with a familiar 1-liter 3-cylinder turbocharged engine, which puts out 95 horsepower. That's plenty enough for local roads, but once you get on the highway, you will ask for more. The engine struggles at higher speeds, while the lack of the 6th gear on the transmission that comes paired to this engine is a deal breaker for many. Thankfully, the same engine is available in a variant with 115 horsepower, and more importantly, the 6th gear. That makes it way more capable and efficient on the open road, but even if that's not good enough for you, you'll be glad to hear that this small 3-cylinder unit is also available in pair with a 7-speed, dual-clutch automatic transmission. Finally, the top of the offer is reserved for 4 cylinders. The 2024 Skoda Kamiq can be configured with a 1.5-liter Turbo 4 with a max output of 150 horsepower, and that's definitely our recommendation. Depending on your preferences, it can be coupled either with a 6-speed manual or 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. There is no word about suspension and chassis modifications, so we expect to see the same ride quality as in the pre-facelifted model, which is great. That model offers a nice balance between comfort and an engaging ride, especially if you pay extra for the sport chassis control, which is a kind of adaptive suspension that can lower the ride by 10 millimeters and also stiffen or soften the suspension, depending on your preferences. As you can see, the 2024 Kamiq gets a solid portion of updates that will definitely make it more desirable than the pre-facelifted model. But when we talk about desirability, we all know what makes Skoda cars so interesting to a wide range of buyers. That's not the styling, nor the interior quality. Skoda has always been famous for offering affordable cars that are, at the same time, bigger than respective classmates. Just look at the Octavia, which has always been notably bigger than its more expensive and more famous cousin, the VW Golf. Whether it's about wheelbase, passenger space, or especially cargo area, Skoda's compact has always been dominant. And as expected, the Kamiq follows the path and offers notably bigger dimensions than its WV twin, the T-Cross. It is longer and wider, while the wheelbase goes all the way up to 2,651 millimeters, which is comparable to some upper-class models as well. As a result, just like most Skodas, the Kamiq is also among the class leaders when it comes to passenger and cargo space. Behind the second row, you will find 400 liters of room, which is very good for this segment and also more than you get from most similarly priced compact hatchbacks. Moreover, the cargo area expands to nearly 1,400 liters, which is an excellent result for a small B-segment crossover. As this is just a mid-cycle update, not a full redesign, the 2024 Kamiq keeps the same proportions and therefore the same amount of space on the inside. In other words, Skoda engineers managed to make this SUV more appealing without making compromises in terms of comfort and practicality, which is a great thing to know. Skoda engineers and designers took their time and updated this crossover without any rush, and therefore, next year's model will arrive a little bit later than usual. Instead of the end of this year, the launch date is scheduled for the first quarter of 2024, when the first deliveries are expected both in Europe and Australia. As for the price, the officials are still to come up with the numbers, but if we consider the inflation and the global trend of price increases in the automotive industry, it's pretty safe to say that some increase is about to happen. However, our insiders claim that the price jump won't be significant, at least not in the UK, where the base model is expected to cost a little bit over £23,000. As for the Australian market, the model for 2023 currently starts at around $35,500, so we may expect it to get closer to the $40K mark in the next year. What do you think about the 2024 Skoda Kamiq? Are these the updates you expected? Is this still a value-laden choice? Or do you think there are small crossovers that are a better value on today's market? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.